and could produce quite a good quality picture.
Yep, quite agree, Frank. I've used both, and you're absolutely right. If the conditions are there, then Easy Pal, the digital system, gives you the better picture. But I remember the warbly tones with fondness. Talking of conversations on the band, the things I miss, sort of in the early the DXing, or when the DXing was on, I had a regular conversation with ZL4 Blue Ocean, Roy, in Invercargill, and it became a sort of a feature almost of the morning DX. We'd be up on 99 hollering away, and he'd be down on 3791 or 92, and quite honestly, the conditions seemed to be, obviously weren't good every day, but they seemed to be so good that we could have a conversation, and I used to enjoy talking to him. His signal was an absolute beacon on 80 metres, but of course he's no longer with us, and conditions have changed anyway. But there just isn't the activity, Frank. I'm convinced that's the answer. People are doing other things these days rather than trying to work around the world. I mean, when you can do it on Skype easily, why bother, I think, seems to be the modern approach. But there you go. I'm preaching to the converted. Anyway, round to you, Pam. M0PBX and the group G0AIX.
G0AIX and G3MVZ. My brain's gone this morning. M0PBX in the group. Yeah. Well, it's, I know it's not DXing, but it is good fun. The 3760, the horizontal net that we are on, which you obviously heard this morning, Dave. And there's 4 guys that are the controllers and have kept it running now for the last 5 years, I think it is, 365 days of the year, including Christmas Day, which is really good. But the way they push themselves to keep the contacts going, one of the guys, Richards, MW0XDT, has just been in Spain for a week, staying at a villa in Murcia, and he's set up a dipole in the garden, and he's been working on 20, 40 and 80, absolutely incredible reports, and trying to get through to different people all over Europe, and certainly the group and that. But they had tremendous rain when they were over there, real flash floods, and he'd gone down to the local town to actually get some provisions, book a boat trip for the next day, come back, and this property is out in the middle of the wilderness with electronic gates, and due to the rain, the electronics gates failed, so he's stuck outside in the pouring rain, floods coming in, and wants to get back into the property. He's a bit of an electricity whiz kid, and he tried to get over the gate, and I think sort of damaged a few of his privates, shall I say, because it was a rather forked top, this gate. Eventually got on the other side, got to the electronic control box and managed to open the side gate to get in, realised his hire car was still stuck outside, and there was so much flooding going on, there were cars skidding everywhere, so he had great difficulty in opening the electronic gate at the end of the day to get the vehicle in. So the rain in Spain stays mainly in the plane, but we got through to him, and a lot of others did, but determination, but it's kept going, and even there, the QSB on the signals this morning was unbelievable. Some people were 20, 30 over, and then down to sort of 2 or 3 only.
They said that we were up and down considerably, Dave, but you have held up completely all the way through on each over. Back to Pam.
Yeah, so hand it to you, Dave, to go to Frank, and then we'll just sit back. But nice to catch you this morning. We'll catch you about 10:30ish or so, Dave, if that's okay with you. G0AIX and 0PBX to the group.
Yep, okay, Pam, I'll make the coffee then and settle down, and we'll have a chat. That'll be fine. Nothing really planned for, other than it's nice to have to walk the dog today, so that'll be a bit later on. And actually, looking at the weather, it looks like it's going to be in for the day. I think it's going to be rather nice. What's the time? 25 past. Okay, I'll keep an eye on the clock, because I know George will be warming everything up and chomping at the bit. But it's surprising, actually, the number of people that do listen to various things. If there's nothing else around, you'd be amazed as to how many people will be listening to nets on this band, not just at yours is sort of still the top end. I haven't listened to it that much, but this morning there was absolutely nothing else on. I didn't hear Dave. I sort of put it up when I came up here. I could see the Welsh Dave up on 86, and I was tempted to go and listen to him, but I thought, no, I'll listen here and see if anybody comes up. But surprised Ross hasn't been on. I guess he's off on 20 doing his digi thing with Peter, Frank. They seem to be addicted to this digital program, but to me, each to their own, but these digital programs to me are like watching paint dry. I tried one and it took 8 minutes to make a two-way conversation, Frank, so I don't recommend it unless you want to fall asleep between overs. G0AIX.
Yes, okay, Dave. I hear what you say and I hear what Pam says. All very interesting. Well, of course, I go back to when I was first licensed in 1957. Conditions were amazing. I used to have a weekly sked with a buddy of mine who's now on Silent Key in Bermuda, and on 10 metres, running about 50 watts AM. And in those days it was so easy, it was like a telephone call, dead steady, it was beautiful, and we kept that going now. Well, we have been talking for about 30 to 40 years, but he's now a Silent Key, and in fact I've been out there visiting him on two occasions. But those days are long gone by. Anyway, your signal's gone way down now, Dave, and so's yours, Pam. So the skip is changing, and it's coming up to 28 minutes past. So I'm going to wish you all a very good morning. Lovely to hear you this morning on a very good contact, and see you further down the log, as they say. Because I'm going to shut up now. Wait for George. So cheers, Pam. Put it over to you, and I'm going to be quiet. Bye-bye, Dave. Nice to hear you. Over to you, Pam, from G3MVZ.
G3MVZ and 0PDX in the group. Yes, really nice to copy you this morning, and do give our very best to Barbara, and yeah, glad to know that she's still keeping her little car. We remember that one very clearly, and it's 7-3 from me, and...
Yes, Mike 3 JBX. All the best, Frank. Love to Barbara, and to you, Dave. Back to Pam.
Yeah, so we'll catch you shortly on the landline. Well, you know, on a mobile at sort of 10:30, 11 o'clock, Dave. So nice to catch you, and I'm sure George will be coming on now, so we'll go QRT. Cheers.
Yeah, bye-bye. And G0AIX also closing down. And over to you, George, if you're listening.
86, Dave.
86, Ross.
Thanks, everybody. I'll be up in a minute.
Just try and catch you there.
Yep, well, I'm not going anywhere.
Beautiful morning here. Sunshine, hardly a breeze. Although it's only, it's crept up a bit to 11 degrees now.
Hang on, I'll give you the report from here. It's 12.4 degrees, it's 98% humidity, 5 mile an hour wind from the northwest. Pressure is rising at 1,023.3 and rising steadily, so it's going to be a good one today, Ross.
How come your humidity is so high, Dave?
Always is. It always is. It's because we're close to the sea, I think.
Could be.
I mean, you can go outside and you can cut it. If you look at the outside windows of the double glazing, they've got a mist of water on them, Ross.
All right. Well, it's not too healthy, all that high humidity, you know, Dave.
I know, that's why I got web feet.
Have you 5 minutes to spare on Skype?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm logged in, so we can have a natter on Skype if you want.
There's G6ZBV trying to break in.
Morning, Ross.
Hello, Adrian. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Whereabouts are you then? You're a very strong signal.
I'm at home. I didn't get into about 1 o'clock this morning, so I'm at home today.
Right, you've got some...
I'm only running QRP.
You've got 50 cycle hum on your audio.
Yeah, Roger as usual.
When you start talking, it does kill it up a bit, but then when you off, it just pokes in.
Yes, I can see that on the parameter. It's not main com, it's from the processor and the microphone.
Oh, is it?
It is.
Really needs fixing.
Yes, I guess it does.
Okay, shall we pop in now, Dave?
Yep, okay, I'll close down here. Gee.
Well, it's absolutely brilliant, and they're so patient and they're so good, and they're like go over and beyond their duty. Really, they're absolutely fantastic people.
Yeah, I watched one last night, and these two, I think they're paramedics, come round to this old fella's house, and I don't know if he'd had he was stuck on the loo, I think. He couldn't get up or something like that, I don't know. And they ended up making him some spaghetti. He'd had up here and he'd run warfarin tablets and he'd run out of them. So she gets on the phone and she organises somebody to drop some warfarin tablets. They said they'd be there in anything up to 6 hours, but she got an emergency doctor or whatever to make the prescription, and so they did all that for him, so they tucked him up in bed, I don't know. Like you say, up above and beyond the call of duty,
Yes. I did see that, Frank. That was fairly early on in the program, wasn't it? And weren't they absolutely brilliant with him? I just, it's just nice to see when we're all complaining about the world we live in and, what a load of rubbish it all is at times. And to see that is really very refreshing.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Of course, you see, I'll relate that to what the firemen tell me on Tuesday night when they used to they do it occasionally still, turn out for the ambulance duties. They get drug addicts and alcoholics, but I think you've got to want to do it though, I think.
Yeah, I think you're a special kind of person, aren't you?
Yeah, right.
Not that as an ex-fireman, Alan, I think you're a special kind of person, of course.
God, he don't half know how to flatter, doesn't he?
Oh, somebody must think that Carol must think so, mustn't she?
Oh, well, there's no two ways about that. She's not here at the moment, so yes, I'm the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah, you're well looked after.
You don't do bad, mate, I'll tell you. We're looking out of them nutty radio hams this dinner time, actually, so mind you, she's had a moan about that, but there you go.
Ah, well done.
In actual fact, what we're actually dishing up is a load of tomato soup, actually. We got tomatoes absolutely coming out of ear holes, so... Carol had a go at making tomato soup the other day, and it worked out absolutely superb. And we got loads of them, so she thought, right, we'll do tomato soup. She skins them and liquidises them, and it really, well, we had some last night, actually, so just that were a tester, of course.
What else do you put with it? Just tomato, and you put some herbs in it?
Yeah, she puts tomato... puree stuff. I don't exactly know, but she does put something to enhance things, yeah.
Well, it probably needs something to thicken it up a little bit, doesn't it, to give it the right sort of... Because otherwise it'd be a bit watery, because they tend to be very, very sort of watery, don't they? So they need to sort of thicken them up a bit. Yeah,
well... We did start doing them with a fry-up, but we left the skins on. They ain't very good then, but then we found that if you take the skins off, it's quite nice.
Yeah. I don't mind them with the skins on. I tell you what, if you fry them in a frying pan, put a bit of balsamic vinegar on them. That make them taste nice.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah, well, she's done a blinking great saucepan full, so bought a special ladle, you know, so they all don't get too much.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Even it out a bit, yeah.
I've been told that me and her, we're last in the serving order. Oh, yeah, he said if there's not enough, we'll have to go without. Oh, blimey.
That'll be your fault, then.
No, well, that ain't fair, is it, Al?
No, our tomatoes were absolutely rubbish this year, exceptionally rubbish. I don't know what's gone wrong. We always have a really good crop, but it all went wrong this year. And of course, Margaret also makes tomato soup, and she freezes it down as well, but we haven't been able to make any this year because we haven't really had enough.
Army O'Reilly. Well, of course, it turned into apples. Martin gave me some apples, and then I thought to myself, well, there's somebody up Farnham Road, Martin, that sells apples. Well, I've been there three times now. The last time was yesterday. I see the notice was took down. I couldn't make them here again, so I'm out of luck, mate.
Well, you should have just jumped over the fence and grabbed a few, and if they come out, and say, well, I'm scrumping.
I walked round the back, mate, but all I could see were cooking apples.
Well, funny enough, on one of the local social media things, somebody was asking for windfall apples to make cider with. They said it'll be ready around December time. And I thought, well, they're too damn late now, because we cleared them all up, threw them away, and you had some. So they're too late now, but they could have come round and helped themselves.
Yes, that's true. They were quite a few on the floor, weren't they, really? Yeah. But I'll tell you what, they were blooming handsome. I'm glad I had some.
They're very nice apples, them ones, compared to the ones on the little trees, which I don't like at all.
Yeah. I'll have to go around to my farm and see if there are any more sort of ripened up a bit. There were a lot of green ones. Well, they get a sort of it's not red, but a speckled sort of reddy bit when they're a bit nearer ready. And I'll have to go and might have a look later on this afternoon and go and have a look, see what. The trouble is, you've got to make sure you're all well wrapped up because it's all overgrown because the farm's in disuse and it's full of nettles, so you've got to make sure you've got pants and a coat and gloves on and so you don't get stung to death.
Well, when we went round Linden New Build, the National Trust place weekend, they got a lovely big orchard, and I said to Carol Gore, she said, leave them alone.
You need big pockets, Al, when you do that.
Oh, it was fucking great orchard, it really is. Too many people about, mate.
Yeah.
Where's that Roy got to this morning?
He's listening with interest. I've grown the apples, I've watched the GP's surgery, so yeah, I'm well up to speed.
Yes, good morning, Roy.
Yeah, well done. Good morning, Roy.
Bright blue sky. But it's only, what is it now, 11.7, I think. So it started off at 10 degrees, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's been very chilly. I've been in the garden seeing to the recycling. It's very chilly here, but lovely bright morning, not a cloud in the sky, but only 54, so the same sort of temperature.
Yeah. I was looking at the forecast. I think there's a big load of rain that's edging its way from the Atlantic, and it's being blown up to the north, but I think it's going to get us on Sunday or something like that.
Yes, it's due on Sunday, isn't it?
Yeah. But there's a lot of it's being blown away from us, but it's creeping up, and I think he'll get us on Sunday. Well, we get stronger winds blowing it away or up. up out the way to the north.
Good morning, everyone. 2W0KRP.
Morning, Paul.
Good morning.
Yes, hello, Paul.
So how's everyone this morning?
Oh, that's about.
Well, we're fine and dandy at this end, mate.
God, dear, the weather's a little bit cooler, but lovely old sunshine out there this morning. Lovely blue sky as well.
Pretty much the same
there's
in
a lot
Swindon.
of breeze, if there's any at all. But, we ordered it, actually, special.
Special delivery, was it, Al?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, mate, special delivery.
Well,
I'll tell you, last night there was a real black cloud up the north there, and it went by, so we're rather pleased about that.
Don't want any of them old things, do you? God, dear, I don't know. We had a bit of rain yesterday for, about 2 or 3 minutes, and then it shut up and it went, and that was it. But I was doing the old garden, I just finished doing the old grass, and down it come for a few minutes. I thought, there you go, that washes the stuff away again.
yeah. Well, we were in Manchester yesterday with a gang that was going to a Chinese, we call it a few pubs, of course, and it was only Chinese buffet things, £6 for OAP, £6.50, as much as you want. And it was good stuff, it really were. I mean, I don't know if you like Chinese, but it was very good. And then it started to rain. We called in another pub, but it rained pretty heavy, but not for very long. I don't know, 15 minutes or so, maybe. And then it stopped, so we carried on and, me and Linda got the tram back, because my legs were giving in about then, and the rest of them stopped there. They called in a couple more pubs, I think, so we left them to it, because, and it's our anniversary tomorrow, so we want nice weather, and we'll be clocking up 45 years, how's that?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll bet the old farmers are very pleased with this bit of warm weather, because they've been cutting the corn like nobody's business. Well, you know that, Martin, don't you? You got a snowstorm at your end, mate.
They still haven't been along and bailed it up, Alan, so it's been rained on since it's been cut, but not heavily. But I really thought they'd be out there and get that bailed up.
Do they do it in the old big bales?
I can't remember, Alan. I think they're square ones. I don't think I've seen the round ones.
Oh, right, yeah.
And yes, it sounds as though you had some RF floating around there, getting back into the front end, so to speak, and probably causing that instability. It's certainly not there now, Richard. Have a great day. M1 PVC going QRT.
Même beaucoup, donc voilà.
Things will, I suppose they probably will change in time, I don't know.
4 Kilo Victor, listening 3657.
Change inches to metric.
The telephone number rings out.
G3 UKV, Golf 3 Uniform, Kilowatt Victor, calling and listening.
Only a bit of plinking in my local farm here.
The garden pond, the 9. Brian's about 15 over 9. So that's great. That's unusual. You're in a shed. By coincidence, Nos, my son-in-law had rewired his shed. He wired his shed up with electric electric. Anyhow, it's autumn today. Brian reminded it was happy. Welcome to autumn, 1st of September. Anyway, my son-in-law had a bit of surplus reinforced cable left over, and he gave me a length, probably about 15 metres, Noz, of quite nice screw-fix reinforced cable. It's got that steel shroud around it. I think it's 2.5 square mil. Good main stuff. And I'm going to do exactly that. I've got a shed just obviously not very far up the garden. I've got a long garden, but this shed's quite near the house. But it hasn't got any electric in it, Noz. So I'm going to wire that up. I've got to get some IP. Are they IP66 or IP, the proper little boxes and stuff, and the glands to accommodate this cable. It's about 13 millimetre outside diameter. So you've got to get, you've got to get the proper glands and stuff. I'll do a decent job of it. Anyway, there we are, Noz. Nice stuff. Your JST is sounding nice. Over to you, Brian. G3NSD, G4PCE in the group. Anybody else? The Box 25 net is here. We started a little bit earlier.
G4PCE with Box 25 net, G2NSD. I don't think I can hear anybody. Are you alright to QSY, Noz? Either 3722 or 3740. Well, they were both clear 20 minutes ago. Are you okay to QSY? It'd be nicer for me. You're between 10 and 20 over 9, which is excellent. So terrific. You've got much better, I think quite a bit better signal than usual. But maybe QSY isn't very attractive if your tuner is falling to bits. You tell us which you'd rather do. G3 ASE, Box 25 group, G2NSD.
G3NSD, G4PC, morning, Rich. Well, yours a bit difficult, PCE, QRM, but I was getting you 5, but the QRM was just the background noise, it's just about level with your signal. But I'm glad to know I'm getting out because it's all changed here. I'm in the house, I'm not in the shack anymore, in the shed rather. The shack is in the house, and I'm about 12 feet shorter on the ribbon feeder. It's a shorter distance now into the room, and I'm using a different APU, one that I didn't normally use on this band, but it seems to be working, and I've had to retune everything up and so on. Now, as regards to QSY, I think both frequencies are free. I'll just check.
G4IV, morning. Morning, Stan. Hang on, we're about to QSY, I think. Roger.
Which do you prefer, 22?
Yeah, 22, I think. So you go to 22, Noz, and we'll follow.
It was quite good.
Sort of number, because you don't vary. I mean, sometimes you're very poor when there's no. I suppose it's like a ground wave. It must be ground wave largely, but it does vary. But I don't think I've seen 20 over 9 for a very long time at all. If I wonder if you got some modern magic magic tune, it sounds like it's one of yours. Once you stand out, you're. OAV and the group G2NSD.
G3 NSD with the Box 25 net G4 OAV. Very good morning to you, Brian, and to you, Noz, and to PCE. Name I've forgotten. Anno Domini strikes again. Yeah, pretty good here. Not very much noise. You're both about 9+5, 9+10. So good signals. Interesting to hear that you've relocated your system, Noz. That sounds good. Should be in for a warm winter rather than going out to the shack in the cold. So, PC, I wonder if you have arrived on this frequency, G4 OAV.
Yeah, I'm here, Stan. Yeah, fine. You're nice and strong. You're about 15 over Stan. So excellent stuff. But I got that round the wrong way. Yeah, so Stan's nicely. Odd Nos is going to be nicely in the warm in the winter months. Yeah, we don't want to go. I can't understand how people can operate really through the winter. Outside in a shed. I don't intend on doing that. I'm just going to wire the shed up so I don't have to run an extension lead into the house when I'm doing the any hedge trimming or lawn mowing and stuff like that. So good signal. So Nos, this your feeder, you have to shorten it a little bit. I wonder if the ATU, if the ATU is tuning up on all bands. I think you've got to double it. I know if you start messing about with the feeder, it can start. If you're unlucky, you can then start having having difficulty on certain bands. But anyway, maybe you haven't got round to testing it yet. And wonder what ATU you're using. You can look on my QRZ page, Nos, and you'll see my wondrous ATU that I built many years ago, and it outperforms the commercial ATU that I got here. So it's my much preferred ATU and my homemade one. Okay, over to it does go to Nos. G3ASE in the group, G4PCE.
G3ASE returning, and good morning to you, Stan. Well, NSD, OAV are both good signals above the noise, but I'm afraid yours, Rich, is just about level with the noise, but I'm getting most of it. I don't think I miss very much. The ATUs are home constructed with coils about 3-inch diameter on one of them, and the one that I'm using now was one I made a long time ago, designed for all bands, but I've only tested it so far on this band. And it seems to be performing just as well as the other one which I've been using all along, which was designed purely for 80 meters. But rather complicated. I couldn't get wide space capacitors, not as much as I would like anyway, so I'm having to use some broadcast receiver capacitors, and I have to be very careful they don't spark over. Anyway, this seems to be working okay at the moment. Although it isn't properly tuned up. I'm trying to tune it while I'm talking, but it isn't easy. I think that little capacitor I put on has probably dropped off. So, let me see. Well, that's 100 watts now, it should be. I was going to say to you, Stan, some time ago, the book on Pate, I've forgotten the full title, but that one that cost a penny or something, I'm a bit doubtful about all his statements. He's talking about Heathrow and mixed up with Heathrow. I didn't think Heathrow was named as the London terminus until it was a terminus until after the war. When I was there, it was London Airport or Croydon Airport, wasn't it? And I think it was called Heathrow in 1943 or 42, whenever it was. And also the book hasn't been proofread. There are some sentences which just don't make sense at all. But there is some good stuff in it. What else? I'm getting it sorted out gradually, Brian, but it is in the back room. I think you can picture it. And the feeder comes straight down the wall, the 300 ohm feeder, and I had to chop quite a lot off it because it's a bit shorter distance than to the shed. And also, inside the shed, it ran along the roof of the shed for a while, and then down. It was a bit messy. So it could be that the feeder is improved. But I haven't tried the other ATU on it. I don't think there'll be any difference with ATUs, actually. So, back to you. I heard ZPA on earlier, about 8:15, I think. G3NSD, G3ASE.
G3ASE and the group G3NSD. No sign of David. I've not heard him, but we were on the key, Rich and I, from about 8:20. I checked through this and 3740. There was nobody there. Didn't see. No, it didn't. Sue Wynn. She went to Heathrow. She wanted to know a story about her civil aviation experience directly after the war, when she was flying into Virgin Lancasters. And part of that story is that she went out to Heathrow to report for duty, and the taxi driver didn't know where it was. Hadn't heard of it. And I think Heathrow was the name of the village or whatever, wasn't it? So, and maybe that's the point. Croydon's not. It's not a race to Croydon. Croydon's on the other side. Croydon Airport's been there. I mean, yes, since the 2070s. I've got a book showing activities at Croydon Airport, including passengers who are weighed. And of course, you think the very grand ladies, what moneyed people who flew those days, the indignity of having to be weighed as they all went through. Yeah, it's maddening. I just despair of things that hard tangible books. I mean, not web confections. Tangible books, real books coming out without proofreading. It's disgraceful. I mean, serious professional proofreading can be costly because it takes a while. But if it's obvious to a reader that there are mistakes, then surely some well-meaning friends might have done it. It's just ridiculous. Who had the effort of writing the blooming thing in the first place? I wouldn't have thought that your signal has improved because of less in the way of feed and loss, Mars. I should think you're just matching it better. Because the length will differ. But I mean, there won't have been losses on this band, even in 100 yards of 300 ohm, I'd thought. But there you are. Right, and Stan, you were 5 and 9 plus 10. Yes, good signal. So, but on to you. G4OAV in the group, G3NSD.
G3NSD, Handerbox 25 group, G4OAV. Well, okay. Thanks for the explanation, Nod. Yes, your signal's now 10 over 9, and so is yours, Brian. And Rich, you're the strongest of all. You're 20 over 9. Really good, strong signal here with me in North Hertfordshire. So, yes, Sue Wynn's story was amazing. For Richard's benefit, she after the war, working, I think she was at Bletchley Park, wasn't she? After the war, she got a job as a sort of a flight attendant on a transatlantic journeys using a converted Lancaster. And you wouldn't believe it, that she was actually flying out to Montevideo of all places, and she remembers flying over the site and seeing the Graf Spee underneath the water, just below the waves. But amazing process, converting an old Lancaster, these Lancasters, so that you could fly them to South America. Mind you, you only managed to take about 6 passengers. That's about as many as they could take. If you go onto the internet and look at commercial flying after the war in Lancaster, you'll see there's some pictures showing these aircraft being converted to fly to South America. Truly unbelievable. But she gave us a very nice presentation, and it really was quite interesting. Right, what's happening here? Oh, yeah, I've got a story to tell you about we've had an archaeological survey going on in the field opposite because they want to build a school on it. And it turned out quite interesting, and I'll tell you the details next time round. Round to you, Richard, G4OAV.
Okay, G4PC. I put the microphone down. I was jotting that down. That sounds very interesting. Lancaster bombers. So, is that right? They kitted out these old Lancaster bombers after the war, and you only could get 6 passengers in there, Stan. Is that right? Did I hear that right?
Yeah, something like that. It might have been 8, but that's single figures.
And it could fly all the way down to Montevideo, you said?
I don't know how they did it. It may have been across to Bermuda or something like that. But yeah, that's where she ended up. She was flying there. Weird, isn't it?
That is mighty weird. I've never heard that one before. That is very weird. Anyway, well, thanks for the nice report. You're 20 over. You're about 20 over, Stan. Really nice. Anyway, everybody's nice. We got nice weather over here in Solihull. Autumn has arrived with some sunshine, and everybody's. We're all working. We're going to have a busy day today. Brian and I, as he was saying, were nattering away on the quay about 20 past 8 this morning. We've both got to stock up huge quantities of sugar to feed back give our bees some something to eat over winter after we've stolen their honey. So that's one of our tasks today. Right, I'm going to shoot off. I'll leave you guys to it. I'll put it back over to you, Noz, and I'll say good morning to everybody. Over to you, Noz. G3ASE in the group, G4BCE.
Okay, thanks, Rich. I'm standing on the microphone lead, that's why it wouldn't work. Yes, working now. Yeah, cheerio, Rich, and you're a good, better signal that time, but I was having trouble copying you, Stan. It's this background noise. I'll have to get the computer and the SDR rigged up. I hope it's okay, Brian, you've done this, I think, to transmit with the computer on the hat green, and just by the... we're having trouble with the router, weren't we? And I can't remember now what it was, but if it's not affecting the router at the moment, I can't see it's going to make any difference just because I'm listening to using the router to listen to things. But there is a delay, I believe, in changing over when I do it that way. Would you confirm that you're okay 9 o'clock Sunday morning here, 9 o'clock here Sunday morning? Don't think I don't know how to confirmation of that. This week I'm on my own. Well, I'm not. Got about half a dozen builders out there. They're out there now making the driveway. So I'm hoping that before long I shall have my own drive back. At the moment there are 3 cars on it, but there is just about room to turn round. But you won't need to do that because it's Sunday morning. You stop outside, you pile in, and then on the way back, when we get back here, I can give you a conducted tour of the showrooms, the new classic car showrooms that we've got in the garden. But better not do that on the way out because of getting to Bedford on time. I think that's about all. I've got 1 or 2 things to sort out yet on this rig and to tidy things up a bit. It's just a bit of a hash up at the moment. But it seems to be working, which surprised me very much. I thought I'd have far more trouble getting things going than I have. I'm looking at that capacitor, it's just resting in position. I haven't soldered it, so I didn't know whether it was all right or not. And yet it's working, because if it drops off, my signal will fade away to nothing. It's only a 5 puffs across one of the variables. G3NSD, G3ASE.
The G3ASE and the group G3NSD. It's a brilliant signal, not so. I'm amazed if 5 puffs is going to knock you into oblivion. But anyway, don't touch it. In fact, it's welded on with RF by now. Of course, you never know. It might have made better contact than you give it credit for. Let me see. Yeah, I'm sorry Richard's gone because I'd have got you to recall Sue's talk about piloting experience, because that was one of the funniest things I've ever heard. It was hilarious, but unfortunately, I don't think it ever got recorded, did it? It wasn't part of her reminiscences at the reunion, and or indeed she did. I've got recorded some somewhat. I must record. Yes, of course I recorded it at a reunion, didn't I? She didn't talk about that. And I don't know if you've got. It's a recording of John Mack's horse story. I wonder, the one where he had a little bit of a altercation with what's his name, Ted Mulvey. You may know that. You know the story, Stan. I don't know if you know if it's actually if it actually related it into a microphone. That's one of the all-time funny reminiscences. I think it should be first of all, because you need to be sure you've got Wi-Fi and reaching into the back room. But it'd be disgraceful if not. I'd be very surprised if not. But you have to test whether the computer whether it knocks the broadband out when you're transmitting. We're on ordinary ADSL. We used to get that here. We've not got it on the VDSL. This faster system is more impervious to RF getting in, but it's also more reliable to putting RF out, of course, because it sort of occupies the cost of 80 meters of things. It's not swings and roundabouts, but we're just the losers all the time, I think, in this spectrum tussle going on. It's not tough, it's just a one-way ticket as far as amateurs are concerned. What else was it? Nothing I can read, so I'll pass it to you, Stan, and tell us if you can, do you know whether Sue's piloting story got, I don't think it got recorded, but you probably didn't even hear it. G354 OAV.
G3ZBA. Morning, chaps.
Good morning, David. Nice to hear you. No, I can't remember whether anybody was recording that one. If it was either Noz or yourself, Brian. I can't remember other people making recordings. It certainly wasn't video recorded. That came later. But yeah, it was a fascinating story. And if you go onto the internet, Google, you can find the story of these converted Lancasters and how they were put into use as civil airline. But a very strange one, you know. It must have been a bit uncomfortable, but you know, with only sort of single figures of passengers, maybe 6, maybe 8, I don't know. It was only the very, very wealthy businessmen and probably government officials being ferried across to North and South America using that route. Amazing, isn't it? Anyway, since I last spoke to you, I think I mentioned that they were doing an archaeological survey in the field opposite my house because they want to build a school on it. And they cut a series of trenches in it about 2 meters wide, you know, with a usual sort of digger. And I think what they were doing, in principle, was going down to plough depth to see what was below that there. And that, in fact, went down to, in many places, went down to the top surface of the chalk that lies below the field. People were saying, you know, before this happened, the people like myself who were rather dubious about having a school in what was an area which was supposed to be landscape conservation and green belt, got in touch with an archaeologist at university, and he borrowed some, you know, what he said was probably the most advanced scanner that was available at that time, or this time, and he did a scan of part of the field and found all sorts of signs there, including one which he thought might have been a burial of a person. Well, you know, that was poo-pooed by the officials who just, you know, send this rather crude system of ripping off the topsoil in strips randomly around the field almost. But 2 days ago, my dog walking friend, who I've just sent off with our dog, saw some chaps coming back, and they said, you're doing more archaeology? He said, yes, that's right. We've got to remove 14 bodies, 14 human remains from the field. So they found skeletons, and he said, this is purely hearsay, he said one of them had a dagger placed on top of it. But we thought that's very interesting. I wonder if Herts County Council are going to cover this up. They've been acting very dishonestly in the whole process, and it's quite possible that they would do their best to pretend it didn't happen. But anyway, a colleague or a friend at the road got in touch with Herts County Council, and apparently they've issued an official statement that somewhere in Hertfordshire, Herts County Council were doing a pre-development archaeological survey, and they found Bronze Age, Iron Age and Anglo-Saxon evidence or relics or whatever. So it's quite obvious that there is something going on in that field, and it makes me, we're all quite interested to find out exactly what it is they found. The only trouble is, you know, throughout all of this, Herts County Council have done their best to withhold information from us rather than making sure we knew what was going on. So, but anyway, we have leaked it to the local press, so it's quite possible it's going to be in the Herts Advertiser next week. But interesting stuff, quite exciting really. So, round to David. Good morning, David, G3ZPA and the Box 25 net, G4OAV.
Yeah, morning, chap. Sorry I'm late. I found it interesting, Stan. Were they bodies or skeletons? Oh, I take it that's all very close to you, somewhere. Nothing like that happens over here. Roman settlements around here, of course, but I don't think they find much, apart from a few mosaics. That was fascinating to listen about John Mack's lecture. I don't know whether it was recorded. I'm meeting him on Sunday, and you've probably seen there, Brian. I'm not sure if you're going at the veterans. So I think he might be in a wheelchair now, I'm not sure. He was asking if they had any wheelchairs there. Whether he's going to bring his own, I don't know. He mentioned Maltby, I'm afraid. That's real... No one got on with him. Give you an idea what it was like. When Gambier Parry retired, they sent a collection box round. It was stuffed full of money. I went to his funeral in June 1965 over the local church in what was then Milton Keynes Village. That's how Milton Keynes got its name, from that tiny little village where Gambier Parry lived. It's still there, but surrounded by houses now. All the original houses are still there, very widely spaced apart with big gardens, posh houses. When Maltby retired, they sent the collection box round. It was very embarrassing. There was about 1 and 6pence in it. The boss at the time, Edgar Harrison, had to stuff a tenner in it of his own. And hardly anyone went to his funeral. But with Gambier Parry, they closed the station down with a few volunteers to keep it running while Gambier Parry's funeral was on. That's how much they thought of him and how much they thought of Maltby. Oh well, back to you, Noz. I haven't heard you yet. G3 ASE, G3 ZPA.
G3 ASE returning. Well, I've hardly heard you at all, David, or anyone. The noise is terrific, and it's getting very wearing trying to copy you. I just got bits here and there. I heard you mention John Mack and lectures. He's never given one at the reunions. I've asked him several times, but he wouldn't give us a talk. So I don't know if he has elsewhere. And only one other thing, I really can't reply to your comments because I haven't know how to get them solid from anybody. I just have to get that hack green going, obviously. I think if anything, well, maybe the conditions this morning, but if anything, the conditions here are worse than they were in the shack. So it's a nuisance. I was going to record it and play it back to you, but I ain't getting the rig to do it. It's very bad. I wanted to ask you, Brian, we can ask you, of course, on Sunday. I've got several large volumes here. Gene bought a duplicate thing, not a duplicate, but books on the same subject from different authors. Huge encyclopedias on gardening and various associated things. RHS and Reader's Digest. One of them here I see costs £30. I don't know if they'd be of any interest to your department. Flora Britannica I'm looking at the moment. Oh, masses and masses of them. All sorts of reference books that I don't need all this number. Of course, nowadays one tends to look things up on the internet. But perhaps sometime at all have a look round and see what there is. Because I want to make room for putting other things in. I've got bookcases all over the house. And absolutely crammed full of books that I shall never look at. So I'll pass it round. I'll listen for a little while, but I think I'd better call it a day because I really can't make out much sense from anybody. G3 NSD, G3 ASE.
10 over 9 here.
Yes, transmitting. It's the receiving that's my problem.
G3ASE and the group G3NSD. Yeah, okay, Nigel, you're probably not hearing me, but we'll be in touch by email. 9 o'clock should be all right for Sunday. I might argue about a few minutes. I'll do the sums anyway, but because there's the beekeeper's nest, I need to probably at least be there at the beginning of that, which is 8:30. Anyway, that should be no problem, really. John Mack gave a talk at for the Chelmsford Club. That's right. I think it was the Louis Varney centenary. It was a Louis Varney evening they had at the Chelmsford Club, and he sent a tape, and I think his tape has generally got around. I've got a copy here. I also think I recorded the sound off the speaker at the meeting. So there is that. But I don't know anything else that any other of his reminiscences have been preserved. I think there was a pretty good. Yes, I see that there were things that the Lancaster conversion was called the Lancastrian, looking on the web, and eventually it got up to 4,000. What was it? The 4,000 something miles range on things, and the latest versions had Merlin engines. But they started with 9 seats, I think it was. It looks like it. And of course, although it would have cost a lot of money, I think there was quite a bit of traffic of Nazis or Nazi sympathisers to South America directly after the war. So they'd have been pretty well to do and quite determined to escape from Europe. I think there probably more seats occupied on the westward journey than coming back. What else was that? Your field's done. That's brilliant, isn't it? Well, of course, it's disgraceful, isn't it? The council trying to cover that up. I hope the press sort of get the bit between their teeth, because this is the sort of thing which, we pay these people to look after our interests, and they never do it. They don't do it here. They're buttering, they're sucking up to commercial pressure, particularly in the so-called housing developments, and we're fed up with it. Right, so on to you, Stan, and sorry if your noise is rubbish, Nod, but sometimes I must hear it. Let's have perhaps as a matter of course, when I happen to be that way, we should just turn your radio on it, because if it's spasmodic, it'd be nice to actually witness it. Well, not nice, but it'll be interesting to witness it. Okay, on to you, Stan, G4OAB and the group G3NSD.
G3NSD from G4OAV. Okay, Brian. Yes, I have heard that recording. I don't know whether it was played at one of the reunions or whether I heard it when I came round to see you. But yes, he sat down with a glass of whiskey and recorded various things, didn't he? And I do remember him saying that he was out riding one day. He had a day off, and he was riding along, and Maltby passed him, and he kind of, he obviously got very upset, because you could imagine John probably had exactly the right gear, and he probably looked quite fine in his riding gear, and Maltby got very upset and made some disparaging remark to him. I can't remember now what it was, but it sounds like he was a particularly nasty guy, and I've never heard anybody say anything nice about him at all. Oh dear, no doubt his wife loved him, or his old mum probably loved him. Oh dear. Yes, these flights in converted Lancaster must have been amazing. There's that range with it. I suppose they did various changes to it. But of course, they were carrying quite a lot of weight, weren't they, with these designed and developed to carry the very heaviest bombs we had. And it should have no problem of weight, and I suppose that made it possible to carry enormous amounts of fuel. If you can hear that bleep bleep, that's my front drive alarm, but it's probably a pigeon strutting up and down in front of the sensor. But I'll pass it on to you, David. Interesting what you say about the funeral. He obviously wasn't popular at all, but probably for very good reason. G3ZPA and the group G4RAV.
He certainly wasn't, Stan. Don't know anyone that liked him. The most arrogant person you could ever imagine.
Oh,
we better go and investigate then to see what this pigeon is strutting up and down your lawn. I could hear it all right. 73 to you, Noz, if you can't hear us. It's a shame. Pity about the noise, you can't escape it. Whereas Brian can. By moving down, he can get away from it. Yes, you're going to the Vets reunion on Sunday then, Brian, so hopefully we'll see you there. I don't know what time to get there, but I shall probably be there about 11ish. I shall stay in the BP side of the fence and then go over to the computing side of it a bit later on. That Lancastrian, it wasn't a very successful airline. It couldn't carry many people. He could carry the weight okay. I remember the most, because several of them went out to South America, and one of them, it was in that famous crash. I think it ran out of fuel or something went wrong, and it crashed in South American mountains. Now, I believe that they found the bodies about 50 years later, still preserved quite well because it was high up in the mountains and lots of snow. I wonder if you remember that, Brian. Anyway, I'll put it to you, and if Nos wishes to break in, he will do, hopefully. But I think he said he's given up due to the noise. Don't remember hearing John Max any lecture at all. I'd like to have heard it, but I don't remember it. G3NSD with a pause, G3ZPA.
Yes, I'm still here, struggling, G3ASE. Checking I wasn't doubling. I was copying you better that time, David, and you're okay, Brian, pretty well. But it was Stan I couldn't get very much from this then. But it is hit and miss, very, very chancy. I heard you say, I think, that Matt gave a talk at the Chelmsford Club. I wonder how he got there, whether it's a special trip down, or whether he was here and staying overnight somewhere. Because he always found well, I'm not surprised, found the journey down to Bletchley Park got quite a struggle. He had to set off very early in the morning. He was always there before me, though, waiting in the car park by the tennis court, as it was then. Well, I understand it. Maltby only got the job because he's a pal of Gambier Parry, working at the same Philco place. But I'm surprised that Gambier Parry chose Maltby as his sidekick, because I wouldn't have thought they were two birds of the same feather at all. Okay, well, I will pack up now. I'll go and do some shopping, I think. But I'll have to get the SDR going. I think you said it would be okay, Brian, but I'll have to discuss it with you, have a word on Sunday. But it is, the noise is absolutely terrible. Sometimes in the past, I've had practically no background noise at all. It's not, I'm pretty sure it's not digital. It's just a continuous, normal ionosphere noise. G3NSD, G3ASE.
G3ASE in the group, G3NSD, yeah, fine. Copied everybody, of course. Now, what was it? Oh, yes, John Mack didn't give a live talk at Chelmsford. He sent a tape. Indeed, it was dictated while he was while he was taking liquid refreshment. It's quite funny, really. Well, he can't help it. So, yeah, I must get that sorted out. Get it properly copied, because I think I've only got an acoustic recording of a recording, so to speak, which is not such great, not such. That doesn't have the clarity. I don't think it's all there. I think the Chelmsford had to curtail it because they were running out of time, but I've got the whole tape. I think it may have came from you, North. It's an audio cassette, so once more we'll still worry about whether we can read it. But anyway, we'll work on that. Yeah, the problems with SDR, Noz, well, one of the problems is the delay. It's pretty hard going on CW. You can't really operate full braking with SDR because there's too much of a gap. And I think if you're listening to yourself, you're listening to it while you're on on phone, you're hearing your own voice a second or so later, or whatever it is. It's very it's very, very off-putting. So it's not a bed of roses. At least if you can actually hear people at the other end, it might it has to be an improvement. But I think I guess well, it'd be interesting to know what your noise really is and what kind of noise it is. I'm not sure it's a white noise, or apparently white noise. If so, we know what it might be, which I've got here, or it's some peculiar local source, but it doesn't reach this far, so it's not widespread. Right, on to you, Stan, and something else can't read. I think I've got it. Anyway, yep, on to you, Stan. G4OAV in the group, G2NSD.
G3NSD from G4OAV. Yeah, I was just quickly looking at that Lancastrian crash in the Andes. Yes, it wasn't discovered until 2000 when they found that the crash was due to weather effects because it was going over the Andes and didn't quite make it. A mystery for 50 years. Amazing, isn't it, that? Yes, what else has been going on here? Not a lot, really. So I finished building my little shed. It's not as big as the Grand Prix showroom in your garden. It's 6x8, but it will store all the things that I need in there, the aerial stuff and garden stuff. I've got another one which is 8x10, I think it is, 8x12, which I was using as a laboratory when I was working for myself. And it's paid for itself, that one. Yes, you must take some pictures of this huge edifice, Nos, when it's completed. Be interested. I've no doubt it's probably wearing a bit thin, having people parked in your front garden pretty well permanently. Right, what's the time? Oh, it's coming up to past. I ought to be thinking about doing things. Nice to hear you all, and I'll just listen once more round. GG3ZPA and the group, G4OAV.
Yeah, okay, Stan. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? How they could not discover it until about 50 years later. And it was weather. Yes, that was very interesting about John Mack's talk. So it was a tape. I've never heard it. I bet it was interesting. He's had an interesting life. I use the Stafford SDR when conditions are bad. And it doesn't matter. Don't listen to yourself, that's all. So when I'm talking, I just turn the volume down because there's about a half-second delay. And when you're transmitting, you don't want the volume turned up because other people that are listening to you can hear the delay. They hear your voice coming back to them. It gets rebroadcast. So it's very, very useful. Stafford is slightly superior to Hat Green, but in the early mornings in the winter, I use Andorra or Silberstadt in Germany because even Hat Green is not picking up the local transmissions. But Silberstadt in Germany and Andorra on the Spanish border is excellent early in the morning, but only in the winter, of course. By the way, you mentioned about councils. A council is elected by the people. The purpose of a council is to go against the wishes of the people and oppose everything that they elected them for in the first place. Around here, in Milton Keynes, and I'm sure it's like that around the rest of the country. Right, I've got to get going as well. Brilliant conditions this morning. Nos, you're slightly stronger than everybody, but it's a shame you can't hear anyone properly. Whereas Brian and Stan, lovely in the clear. My noise level when you're not speaking is about S4. That's not too bad. I can copy the weakest signals. I'm very lucky, really, I suppose. Right. 73 is all. Back to you, Nos, if you're copying, or if you don't answer, I realise you've given up in disgust. G3ASE, G3ZPA going QRT. See you Monday, chaps. He's not copying, Brian, you take it.
Noz, are you still there, Break? No, he's given up in despair by the sound of it. Okay. Yeah, fine, Dave. We'll see you on Sunday. Yeah, I've got a shopping list of things for you. I'll email you. Let's see, what else was there? Discone. Your phone 9 plus 10, Dave. Nice signal. Excellent. Of course. As ever. I can't read my writing now. I'll put you down, yes. Phone 9 plus 10. Yep, well, that's it. Good. Nice to speak to you all. Have a good weekend. And I'll see you again. Oh, whatever he's tuned it with. Yeah.
I wonder what the insurance is these days for a youngster to get a car. I bet it's horrendous.
Before goes according to plan. Oh, Monday is going to be fun. Got to have my eyeballs photographed on.
You know, whatever the form. This form. And it can.
Very old one. But I hadn't charged it up, so I was snookered.
Don't run, Stan.
Roger?
Sorry, I meant to say, unless you've actually solved your ELO 22-inch LED, LCD, DVI, D monitor.
Mainly about dentistry, I noticed, and
what I'm using now was originally, when I tested it on the chassis, used a microwave oven transformer. Beautiful transformers. And so I managed to get a scrap industrial microwave oven transformer with double size actual physical transformers. I haven't actually measured the output, but they're either come out in 2.5 kV or about 2.8 kV. Usually the domestic ones are about 350 milliamps, which is enough to run a decent bulb. But I'm not sure what the industrial ones were, but the rectifiers were double size. So two of these double size working basically in push-pull. They're wonderful. You know, I can't recommend them more highly. Over to you, Frank. I'm going to have to make this a final. I've got to go for my breakfast. And something exciting, rather than rabbiting on the radio, although it's more fun. Over to you, Frank, and the 73s to everybody. I'll listen once round, but I won't come back and let's call G4 TCB.